Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Jack's Business Talk. Today, I asked Frank, Old Guy REI, to answer a question I've been pondering about for a long time, probably a couple years now. And since he's the father figure of the ORAAT community, I figured who better to ask.
Thanks, Jack. It's good to be with you today.
It's always great to have you. And in case you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to his channel. In fact, you should leave this video and go subscribe to his channel, and then maybe come back to my video later.
Yeah, thank you. We're creeping up like 1 or 2 subscribers per month, so it's going, but it's going a little slow.
That's kind of what I noticed recently. I'm wondering if it's the time of year because, like, I was climbing steadily, like one or two a week, up till Vegas, and then after Vegas, I took my foot off the gas, and now I'm doing the same thing again, and I'm only seeing like one or two a month.
Mm.
But like I talked about behind off camera with Zuber a couple times, is that I don't expect my channel to ever get very big. Well, like I think 400 is going to be kind of where I tap out because I'm just talking too much of a fine niche market, too small. And honestly, I'm fine with that. I'd rather have a deeper, more impactful network than a wide one.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think you'll have more people that kind of follow you for your content and they're interested in those kinds of things. I think that is pretty cool because, yeah, if it grows too big, then there's a bunch of people in there that aren't really about the same thing. So
Yeah. So let's get to the real question. So for those of you who wonder what happened to the live yesterday, well, it gone. But to recap it a little bit, I was talking about what if we're going through all this journey, which is coincidentally what you were talking about with Dion yesterday. What if we're going through this journey and only find ourselves with our ladder up against the wrong building? So like, and I was talking a little bit about myself. So what if, like, for example, I'm doing the handyman work, the lawn care, and real estate, that's fine, and all. But what if I get to the point where I don't want to do it? You sell off the businesses, and then now you're back on focus. But what if, for example, my ultimate goal, and it's something I don't really talk a whole lot about on this channel, is not because I fear the wrath of YouTube or anything. It's just more of it's so far out in the distance that there's no point bringing it up. But I want to get like a little Christian campground going where people can kind of come in and meditate, get closer with God, or even just how to say unwind and de-stressify themselves from society for a minute.
we lost your signal. I can't hear you.
Due to the fact that I didn't hear Frank tell me that the recording or the audio stopped because of the bad area I was in, this piece here is the next piece that I took out of a different video or later in the video, and it's the best I can think of what I was trying to say at the time.
They can relax and they can, maybe do some survival classes and some homesteading and stuff. And what started this whole thing was the video with Brian Adamson yesterday. He was talking to praise in his live stream. What do you think?
Can you hear me okay? Your signal was breaking
Yeah, I
up.
can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching that live as well with Brian, and I've been watching a lot more of his stuff. A lot of his messages resonate with us, and I think what your goal there would be really valuable to a lot of people because there doesn't seem like there are too many places you can get away and kind of be alone and de-stress, like you said. I think a lot of people would find a lot of value in that. And I also think that I think you had a second part to your question. And I think what I heard you say was, for example, you start this camp and it kind of would need to pay for itself so that you know, don't have to kind of come out of pocket so much to keep it running, which is good. Almost sounds kind of like a nonprofit thing, but then you might have mixed feelings about just say you did have a little bit of profit and that's not your goal, but that would feel wrong to you. And I think being a God-fearing man, you already have in you what it would take to, I guess, get his message, right? Jack, you're going off track here.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the wrong reasons, or, you know, I love this idea and it's going to help a lot of people. I think you'll feel that. And I think just because you're even thinking about that will help you make the right decision.
Well, I know something that Brian Adams said yesterday is that when you feel your calling, it's going to be something that you're going to kind of almost fight with. Like it's going to be something you're naturally kind of good at, but you don't want to do for certain reasons until you start getting pushed in that direction. Sorry, I got a mustache hair just trying to make with my nose. But, it as kind of like, well, the books part is what is my hardest problem, and like Cynthia could help me with that, and we can get like a little store together to and I'm not talking crazy. I'm talking about like an old style country store, and I'm not trying to pick on saying, oh well, country stores are bad. Just no, like I like the style for this type of thing. You have 4 or 5 coolers, maybe like some ice cream and stuff for the kids, or for the hot days, and some ice, and you can sell some split wood, a lot of canned goods and dry goods and that kind of stuff, some propane. Just keep it simple and stuff. And like I said, I'm this is kind of more or less my charity act for the community wherever I decide to put this. And I have some areas in mind that I would like to try and get it into. But I was even thinking like even maybe trying to set up a like towards front. What I'm envisioning is like maybe like a non-denominational church. Obviously, I'm not going to be a speaker. You don't want someone that has Navy men, Army, Marines, and truck drivers, up on the podium. But like, I just kind of want to more or less break even, and I would like to honestly, like I said, like do the classes and stuff, the survival, and I think that's where most of the money is going to come in from, survival and teaching people how to can and homestead and all that kind of stuff, and teach them how to live off grid, because that's all stuff I can do.
Yeah, I think the church sounds like a cool idea. I think I guess one thought that popped into my head was you're going to have this, say, Christian retreat or whatever you might call it, but then how would you keep it like Christian based? Because if you're like have camping sites and things like that, do you think you would attract like other people that might
I'm
not
strictly just going to advertise with church ads. Like I, I honestly was thinking about this. I'm going to take a page out of Dion's book, and I'm going to control where the advertisements go, and I'm not going to advertise where people that aren't of the faith are going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just set it up for like groups and stuff, and maybe have a few diverse campgrounds. And what's even thinking about is having the store and the church up front so they can pull in, check in, and then have like a path that goes up behind and goes from there.
Yep, sounds like it's going to be really nice.
Hopefully. kind of want to design it maybe a little bit like after a Cracker Barrel, you know, like that woody, like that dark woody look.
Mm-hmm.
I figure have a few lamp sites, a few community campgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, I think that look would be appealing. I think, like you said, the little kind of country store would be really great. And two, what you were saying about teaching people how to live off grid or do canning or whatever it might be. I think those are some pretty rare things to learn, but I think a lot of people are more interested in that these days. Don't want to say, talk about like doomsday prepping or anything like that, but it seems like those kinds of skills, have some interest for people.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily doomsday prepping and stuff. I think it's more people are seeing what can happen with inflation in a very short amount of time and not being able to adjust what they can make quick enough to contradict all the inflation. So people are going back to a lot of the old school ways. One thing I'm seeing, and there's two big things. So the one thing I'm seeing is people like my generation, they remember doing this kind of stuff with their grandparents and stuff, and they've forgotten how to do it. And they want to start learning how to do it because they're like, oh, I'm tired of Smucker's strawberry jelly. Like there's one person I know, she did a peach, mango, rose, and truffle oil jelly. And that's what people I'm seeing in my generation are getting into is one, it saves money, like canning like all your stuff when it's on sale, instead of throwing it in the freezer and having to worry about getting frostbitten and all that stuff, they just can it instead. And but then they'll spend more money on I call it the artesian jellies and stuff because, to them it's like art,
Yeah.
But, and you get to experiment and find new flavors. I hear lavender is a good flavor for that type of stuff too.
Yeah, I was wondering if you tried that jelly that you just spoke of.
I did. It was really good. I didn't make it, but she gave me and Cynthia some. But yeah, it was good. You could taste the hint of flour.
Yeah, I can imagine it takes a while for your taste buds and senses to, get rid of all the other stuff that we eat and be able to taste all those different ingredients would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like the classes would be open to more than just where I would be advertising, obviously, but like I would probably market it as like a healthier style of living off grid, how to maximize your ROI on with inflation on food. Yeah, I think that's how I would go about marketing that. And the church would kind of be there to, obviously for normal church things, but like to get people to keep coming all year round because once camping season's over, even like late, like probably like the last week of September, I want to shut the campground down for multiple reasons. One of the biggest ones for me is, I enjoy the outdoors and stuff, and I just don't really want I don't want a bunch of people scaring all the wildlife off that I'm trying to, go hunt for.
So do you think it would basically be open for 6 months out of the year or?
Let's see. 6, 7, yeah. Because I'm thinking probably like open it up around February, March. And I kind of don't think a whole lot of takers are going to take it up just because of how the weather is. Unless I did like actual more buildings and stuff. And then I could do like a little gallery and provide meals and stuff. That would be a way to create a little bit, generate a little bit of extra income.
Mm-hmm.
And then do like honestly, at that point, if you're going to go through all the regulations of having the food and stuff, you might as well build the restaurant portion on the back of the store and open up a little store. It could literally, a little restaurant. It could literally almost be a Cracker Barrel at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But just only have like certain foods for that particular day.
Yeah, sounds like a really great atmosphere and destination.
Yeah, and that's kind of my biggest hiccup, which I just answered now for myself, was how do I keep the money coming in so I don't have to dig as far into pocket stuff. And like I just said, I think I just answered that. Open up a little restaurant stuff and just spend the extra money and try to focus more on small groups where they can all stay together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good. I think circling back around to your question about, I guess, about God seeing it as a good thing, I think you answered that too. I think it would be a great thing. And I think your intention going in isn't to make it like a super profitable business or anything, or do it for profit, but just to be able to help it keep itself running.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the things I'm thinking about doing is just keeping the trees far enough away from the buildings where, I don't have to worry about a tree landing on something. And then just keeping up with the trees that are dying. But I want as many trees as possible, obviously, because you're in the woods, but two, so there's less maintenance on the property. That way I only have to do like maybe the quarter of an acre around each building. And if you only have so many buildings, then you might be able to get all your mowing done in like 1 or 2 days versus like having to cut every single day.
Yeah, sounds like a great plan. I think it would do well.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for inviting me. Anytime that we can connect, I always enjoy it.
I'm not sure if I really have anything else to talk about with this topic. I think we kind of went over it.
Yeah. Okay, well, just let me know next time an idea pops into your head. I'm happy to go over it with you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And if you guys are still watching this and you haven't subscribed to his channel, what's the matter with you? Get over to his channel, subscribe.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.